What up, ninjas? We're gonna show some cool stuff today. I wanna show my version, my interpretation of the Ezekiel choke, which is one of my favorite chokes. I love this choke. It's a great gi choke, and I think it's a solid go-to move for your attacks, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and start in side control, and we're gonna transition to the mount. A couple reminders here in side control. I wanna keep my knee pressed up against the hip, and keep everything nice and tight in here. It's very important that I protect that hip over here as I go to set up my mount. So if I'm gonna move my right leg right now to mount, I gotta slide my left knee up against the hip as I open up that arm right here and I frame off my left elbow, boom, and right into my mount now. As I mount now to set up my Ezekiel choke, I'm gonna keep my head pressed up against his head here, nice and tight right here, nice and tight. I don't wanna give him any space right here, so I want to consume all of that space. So my head stays tight. Now watch, I want to take my right hand out. Now if my left arm is behind his head, I do have to be concerned about getting re-rolled here. That's one of the downsides with the Ezekiel is that you're tied up behind the neck here. So I do have to be concerned that if he starts to control my arm over there, that he might try to roll me that way. So if he starts to roll me, that gives me an opportunity to put my hand out here to base myself, okay? So if he rolls me to my left, I use my right hand to base. That's also going to start setting up my hand for my choke. Now, to make the Ezekiel work, it doesn't really work if you're at the wrist right here because you can't get your hand inside here. So it's really important that your sleeve gets all the way up to your elbow. So when your head's down here, take your sleeve, press it to the floor, and slide it up to your elbow. And then it's 3 fingers inside. Now, I take my right hand, I'm gonna go over top of my left arm, and I'm gonna slide into his chin right here. So I keep my head in there pressed in nice and tight. So I slide up under that chin, and I'm gonna flip my hand over, and I like to make a fist right here. And I'm gonna drive that fist into the throat here. I like to line my Ezekiel up right on the trachea here, not over here on the carotid. Here's the reason why. If I choke on the carotid artery, it's gonna take me 3, 4, 5 seconds to really put him out and to get a tap. When I attack with my Ezekiel here, because I'm on the trachea here, I'm gonna get an immediate reaction from him, and he's gonna have to defend this and grab onto my arms, which is gonna help me set up my mount too. So if I'm ever in the mount here and he starts messing around with my legs, like pushing on my legs, I can immediately go to my Ezekiel, which is gonna stop him from messing with my legs and force him to have to defend here, which I can use to adjust my mount or to get my submission here. Okay, so back in side control again. From side control, sitting up my attack here, okay? I got my knee pressed against the hip over here. I slide my other leg in, get a nice tight mount with my head down. If he starts messing with my base, I'm gonna post my hand to counterbalance. But again, I'm keeping that head locked in here. When I'm ready, I slide my sleeve up to my elbow. My right hand is gonna dive underneath his chin. Because remember, in here, he's gonna have his chin pressed against his chest. So if I can't get underneath that chin, I'm not gonna get that choke. So my fingertips are gonna slide under that chin, lift it as I flip it over. Now, when I get to this position here, the fear now is that he might roll me over because I can't post my hands on the floor. So what I like to do if he starts to mess with my base is I step my foot up and I post. Now if he tries to roll me, I'm not going anywhere. The other advantage is that this foot pushing down creates leverage. So when I'm in my choke here, I can push my foot off the floor as I drive down to create maximum leverage versus here with the knees, I don't get the same leverage. Here, it's very powerful. Okay, so one more time. From side control, sitting up that Ezekiel choke. I'm nice and tight here. Knee against the hip. Get that nice tight mount here. Consuming all that space here, temple to temple, nice and tight. My hand comes out. I slide that sleeve up. My fingers dive underneath his chin. I lift the chin up, drive the hand over, bring my foot up, and I squeeze right here. If he starts to really defend my arm over here, I can let go of everything and I can start setting up my triangle choke from there and transition to that triangle very nicely. So again, working that Ezekiel choke, it's an awesome choke because again, you're gonna get a reaction right from the get-go. And I always say, ABC, always be choking. And if you're attacking immediately here, he's got to defend. Instead of him messing with my legs, he's got to defend this choke here. So I want to go right into my attack mode immediately and keeping everything nice and tight here. Boom, just like that. All right, here we go. Last time. So from side control, Nice and tight. Get that mount, temple to temple pressure. I slide that sleeve up, dive the fingertips underneath the chin, flip it over, step my leg up. If he defends, I can always go into the triangle at any time. Boom. So play with it, work on it, continue molding the clay. Happy training, ninjas. Host.